The Democratic National Committee presents another visit with the man from Libertyville. Here at the end of this lane, on a farm about 4 miles from Libertyville, lives Adlai E. Stevenson of Illinois. This is Governor Stevenson's living room, considerably cluttered up right now. A film crew has arrived to take pictures for television.
Scene 4, 5, and 6. Take 1, track 43.
Now, here's the governor.
Yes, and I wish you could see what else is in this room. Beside the camera, there are lights over here. There are cables all over the floor. And even some of my friends standing around here. But you know, it's amazing how many things there are in television that you don't see. But I confess I rather like it. It's wonderful how sitting right here in my own library, thanks to television, I can talk to millions of people that I couldn't reach any other way. But I'm not going to let this spoil me. I'm not going to stop traveling in this campaign. I can talk to you, yes, but I can't listen to you. I can't hear about your problems, about your hopes and your fears. To do that, I've got to go out and see you in person. And that's what I've been doing. For the past several years, I've traveled all over this country, hundreds of thousands of miles. I've been in every state, many of them more than once. And I've met thousands of you, and millions of you have seen me. And out in the great Northwest, out here in Oregon and Washington and Idaho and Montana and all this great, beautiful, wonderful western region, I've seen our magnificent natural resources, these priceless possessions that we have cherished so long, which the Eisenhower administration has been giving away. And the school problem is not a regional problem. All over the United States, from coast to coast, from Canada to Mexico, where I have traveled, I have talked to people like you, parents, about their children, about the crisis in our schools. And I've talked with small businessmen all over the country who get smaller and smaller and poorer, while big business gets bigger and bigger. And I've heard many people worry about the greatest anxiety of all in this age of the hydrogen bomb, about the state of our defenses, about the national security, about America's influence in the world under a Republican administration that puts dollars ahead of national security. Yes, and I've seen the hurt in people's eyes, children and older people too, who because of the color of their skin are treated somehow differently from their fellows in this land of equality and of freedom. All of this and much more I have experienced, I have seen and heard and felt as I've traveled across this broad land of ours back and forth by train and plane and bus. And so easy as it is to appear before you on television, I shall continue to travel and to listen throughout this campaign as well as talk. And if you should elect me your president next November, I shall be the better for having done it, I'm sure, because I know that the strength and the wisdom that I need must be drawn from you, the people. So finally, I hope that the next time we meet, it will be person to person and face to face.
Cast your vote on November 6th for the new America, for Adlai Stevenson for president and Estes Kefauver for vice president. Vote Democratic, the party for you, not just the few. The Democratic National Committee presents another visit with the man from Libertyville. Here at the end of this lane, on a farm about 4 miles from Libertyville, lives Adlai E. Stevenson of Illinois. But before we look for the governor, let's see the nearby town of Libertyville itself. Here is the main street, the shops, and the church. Here in markets like this is where Nancy Stevenson, the governor's daughter-in-law, does the family shopping. She drives in several times a week. And because Libertyville is like many other American communities, and because Nancy Stevenson is like so many other young wives, She's learned quite a bit about how much groceries and the like cost these days. After shopping, she drives home 4 miles to Governor Stevenson's farm, where she and Adlai Jr. are staying until he returns to law school. The Stevensons are returning now from a shopping trip in Libertyville. The governor is helping with the groceries.
That's my daughter-in-law, Nancy, and my oldest son, Adlai Jr. He's a student at law school. I think they're staying with me during the vacation. I think they live pretty well, but they're learning a lot about something that worries a lot of people in this country, and that, of course, is the high cost of living. In spite of the Eisenhower promise, the cost of living today is higher than it's ever been before in the history of our country. And this is a serious matter for young people, like my son Adlai and his bride Nancy. I was reminded, talking to them the other day about this, of the young husband who said every time he was about to make both ends meet, his wife moved the ends. Well, sometimes they have to. And it isn't only young people that feel the pinch. It's also our older citizens, people on pensions, people on fixed incomes. For example, I believe almost 1/2 of all of our older citizens don't have a sufficient income for a really decent standard of living. You can hardly blame these people for asking, where is this golden prosperity that the Republicans talk so much about? And there's another inequity that makes it hard for millions of hard-working, thrifty, conscientious American citizens to make both ends meet. Eisenhower said that there would be tax relief, and there has been to some degree, but it was for the benefit of the well-to-do and for the big corporations. The Republicans gave the lion's share of it to them. Out of every dollar of tax cut saving, 91 cents went to the higher income families and to the big corporations. And for the rest of Americans, 80% of all American families got only 9 cents out of each tax cut dollar. Now for older people, for you people who live on pensions, on fixed incomes, for the younger people just getting started, this is a serious matter. But I think it can be corrected. For example, when it's time to cut taxes, I think the cutting should start among the lower income families, among those people who have to spend the largest portion of their income on the bare necessities of life. For no prosperity can really be true prosperity unless it is shared by all. In this I believe that enlightened, vigorous, democratic leadership can lead us over the threshold to the new America in which our abundance is used to enrich the lives of all of us. Oh, Nancy.
You were a big help, Doug.
Oh, I forgot to deliver the groceries and made a speech instead.
Cast your vote on November 6th for the new America, for Adlai Stevenson for president and Estes Kefauver for vice president. Vote Democratic, the party for you, not just the few.
How's that again, General? At a press conference and talking about his responsibilities as president, Mr. Eisenhower declared,
No president can delegate his constitutional duties. How can he do it? He has to sign the papers, he has to sign them, and he's responsible for them. I'm the responsible head of the executive part of this government.
How's that again, General?
I'm the responsible head of the executive part of this government.
This is Estes Kefauver. The words you have just heard turned out to be hollow words indeed. At the height of the Dien Bien Phu crisis, the president went quail hunting. When John Foster Dulles' Brink of War article confused the free world, the general ducked the responsibility, said he hadn't even read the article, and so it goes. The list of such actions or lack of actions is endless. The presidency requires leadership, not buck passing. Let's think it through.
Vote for Stevenson and Kefauver. Vote Democratic. How's that again, General? In the 1952 campaign, the general complained about the cost of living. He promised his television audience,
People can afford less butter, less fruit, less bread, less milk. Yes, it's time for a change.
how's that again, General?
Yes, it's time for a change.
This is Estes Kefauver. The General's promise to bring down prices was another broken promise. Since the Republicans took office, the cost of living has reached its highest point in history. Today, the consumer can buy less food, less housing, less clothing, less medical care than he could in 1952 for the same money. The General promised a change for the better, and we got shortchanged for the worse. Think it through.
Vote for Stevenson, Kefauver, Wagner, and your local Democratic candidates. Vote row B.